Previously, I mentioned this book, The Gospel Comes with a House Key, and a critique that was written about the book suggesting that Rosaria Butterfield's perception or perspective on hospitality was not entirely biblical, but rather somewhat biblical and also influenced largely by her kind of past in post postmodern studies. Now, I wanted to tell you that I wasn't convinced that the author made the case for what he claimed about Butterfield, but I was grateful to the author because he exposed me to things about postmodern philosophy related to hospitality that I did not know. And it was sort of one of those moments when you begin to understand the sort of intellectual foundation of something, all sorts of other puzzle pieces fall into place. For me, in this case, one of the puzzle pieces that fell into place was the understanding the way that the political and theological left use the stories of Jesus to make a point that seems to be beyond what the Bible is actually saying. So in this case specifically, I'm referring to what you'll often hear people talk about and describe, which is true, that Jesus ate with tax collectors and sinners. And I think it's fair to say that you don't want to get the you don't want to get the idea of some kind of a rager that Jesus was having. But on the other hand, I think it's fair to say these were like parties. These were parties. Now, the post millennial or the post modern perspective, when you start hearing people talk about Jesus in his partying with tax collectors and sinners, you'll often hear them kind of use that to argue for perfect and total inclusion without any exceptions or standards. In fact, that's the postmodern idea of hospitality. Specifically, that postmodern hospitality has no agenda whatsoever. But of course, it doesn't take much reading of the context to realize that Jesus had an agenda. He was not an agendaless man. That would be the farthest thing that anyone could ever say of him. So, in fact, already as we examine the story of Jesus having a party with tax collectors and sinners, we already see this merging that I'm trying to describe between these two things. We're going to get more seriously into that in the next video, that merging of festivity, celebration, relationship, and agenda, mission, so on and so forth. And guess where we find that? We find that in the Trinity. That's the next video.